Shankaram, Siva Shankaram. In this video, we look at a very high level analysis of this Thiruvasagam, Thirukothumbi Thiruvasagam, and what or who is a Kothumbi, why does Manickavasagar mention Thirukothumbi or a bee, and finally, how can we use or what can we learn from this song in the present context. So Manickavasagar is plucking flowers for the puja for Thillai Chidambaram Natarajar, and he sees bees sucking nectar from those flowers. Suddenly he is distracted, he goes into that ecstatic state and sings this song. So what is the high level analysis? The first stanza, he starts itself with flower. So Poovaeru Koanum, poo, he starts with the word flower or poo. And the last stanza also, he finishes with poo, poo male ayanode. So he is talking about Brahma only in both these cases. He is also talking about the other gods like Narayana, Indira, Saraswati, etc. The only difference between the first and the last stanza is that the first stanza he says, no one knows your feet, and O Thirukothumbi, go and pray to this feet. In the last stanza he is saying, all these people could not reach your feet, but you gave me that high pedestal, although I don't even know whether I am worthy of that. So that is what is the difference. And he says, others stood dazzled, not able to reach your feet, and I stood dazzled or instead exalted that you have given me that seat. Now the first three lines in all the stanzas of this Thiruvasagam, he is either talking about himself, saying, okay, I have got so many flaws or faults, and he compares himself with a dog many times, or he is mentioning that Siva took him into his fold and how he took him into his fold, or he is describing Siva, or lastly he is also talking about that people should not amass wealth and how this world and that wealth is all false and that is not the real truth. Now the last line, the first few words, the last line of every stanza, the first few words, he is always describing Siva. So he is saying, or he is describing his eminent feat. So he says, Vittagadevarke, or Sunnappun Neetrke, Sittaya Sittarke, etc. And the last words in that last line, he'll always end it with Sendru Udai Kothumbi. So Sendru, you go, Udai, you go and buzz, you go and hum. Next to what? Next to that Lord's feet. And he's saying Kothumbi. So I'll come into now, what is Kothumbi and why does Manickavasagar make a reference to Kothumbi? So Ko means Arasan, Ko or a king, but here it is more a queen. I'll tell you why in a few seconds. And Thumbi is a kind of a bee. So we'll call it the bumblebee or the honeybee. So normally it is that yellow with black stripes. So a few facts about the bees, and then I'll come to why that Ko is supposed to be a queen and not a king bee. Now there are three kinds of bees. So if you've seen a honeybee, the family of honeybees, the way they are structured is there is a queen bee, then there is a drone bee. The drone is the male, the queen is a female bee, and then there are the worker bees. So the queen bee is the head of that entire bee colony, and the drone or the male is only used to mate with the female. And once it is mated, its work is over, it probably dies in a few days. Whereas the queen bee survives, sometimes it could survive for 3 years, sometimes it could survive for just 1 year. The worker bees are like just workers, just like you and me, who work in that colony and help that entire bee colony to thrive. So that is why I say that Kothumbi should mostly be the queen bee rather than the king bee. So now just a few facts about the bees. So bee is supposed to be a messenger between our world and the spiritual world. So it is a highly revered animal. They call it animal, but okay, it is an insect. And not only in Hinduism, but in every other religion it is considered to be it is regarded very high. So bee, they say, is our soul, and that is why I say our soul is the king of the body, and that's why he does not say just Thumbi, but he uses the word Kothumbi, because without that king or without that queen, we are nothing. If there is no soul, there is no body, right? So there is no life. So without that Sivam, we are only Savam. So once the soul leaves the body, we are dead. So other facts, now bees are actually cold-blooded creatures. So this is a fact to say why bees are considered very close to humans. So they are actually cold-blooded creatures, but the bee hive is maintained at the same temperature as that of the room temperature or the human body temperature. So that is why that connection is there between a beehive and a human being, and that is why they say the beehive is the human body, whereas the bee is the spirit inside that body, because one cannot work without the other. Now there are certain lines in some ancient rituals of, even like if you go as far as the Egyptians, the old Egyptians, they also believed that the soul was the bee, and they used to keep huge colonies of bees and beehives. And also there's a ritual in their book called Amtuat, or the other world, that believes that these bees are nothing but the souls, and the buzz of the bees is nothing but the hum, the voices of our souls. And the Hindus also believe that the bee symbolizes rebirth or a reincarnation. Now bees, as I said, they are mentioned in all the religions. So they are mentioned in the Bible, and in the Bible there's one story of some Samson where the bees appear in the carcass of a lion, and that symbolizes nothing but victory or triumph over evil. So good over evil. Now the bee surprisingly comes even in the Quran, the Holy Quran. So it is called An-Nahl. And he says, and that particular verse in the Quran, it's not a verse, it's a set of verses. It says that Allah gave the revelation to the honeybee by sending what? Bee prophets. So B-E-E, bee prophets. And he says, bees have got, so these bee prophets, they know all the secrets of nature. So just like the outside bees know all the secrets of nature, those bee prophets, they also knew all the secrets of nature and the secrets of creation, and there is a special connection to the actual creator, that was Allah himself. So now what can we learn from these bees? So I'm saying all these, or I'm citing all these, because that is why Manickavasagar is using a bee in this entire context of Thirukothumbi. He could have used some other animal, right? He could have used a parrot, he could have used something else, but this is what we can learn from a bee. So one is solutions to our problems. So if you feel that you're facing impossible odds or any dilemma, you're in any particular dilemma, then bee is your master of miracles. So no matter what you face, a bee will help you find that elusive solution. So that is why we are singing this song also. Then that is why he keeps telling the bee, don't get bogged down by these worldly pleasures. Go and touch or pray to that feet of the Lord, because the bee is your messenger. Bee is the one who is giving you that solution. So that is why he is saying, that is why even I say that bee is your person. He will solve, or he will give you a miracle. Now all the bees, if you've seen a bee colony, bees are very productive. They stay focused to their goal. They do not get sidetracked. So their only goal is to get nectar, right, from the flower, and that is all. They do not indulge in anything else. So like that, we should also stay focused, learn this song and get our mind focused with at the lotus feet of the Lord and attain that Paramajyoti. So bees are our spirit animals, and they come into your life, right, because they want to relay any important message. So that is what we can learn from the bees. So bees And when they call out to you, or when you get a dream of a bee, or when you see bees around, always think about this. When you're singing this Thirukothumbi song, think that the bee is trying to increase your productivity and your focus. The next thing we can learn from a bee is the value of community and teamwork. So bees are associated with a teamwork. Now I've already told you, I've listed out the structure of a bee colony. The queen bee, the drone bee and the worker bees, they all work in harmony. Even if one person there does not do their job, that colony will be destroyed. So everyone must do their part, just like in real life. So we are dependent on many people, and that is how they work for that entire community. So that is what we can learn from them, teamwork and community. The next thing we can learn is unselfishness and shedding of the I, the letter I, which is ego, aham. So if a bee, like for example, if a bee is ill or it is sick, one of the bees, this is a beautiful characteristic of a bee, it will not work in that community. It will go outside, and you can relate to this particular incident, which is now called self-quarantining or social distancing. That is exactly what it will do. It will social distance from the group, it will self-quarantine, and until it gets better, and then it will come and work in that colony. If it is about to die, then it will die outside, because it does not want that disease to be spread in the colony and to destroy that colony. What a beautiful characteristic we can learn from that bee. And because I said there is no I, it always works in a team. There is a no I in that whole word called team. There is only the team. It always focuses on the goal, and it is not one bee that does that one thing. It is the entire set of bees that work towards that goal. So it is just like Manickavasagar singing this song for us. Naan petra inbam ivvayagam peruga. See, he could have got that ecstasy and he could have gone. Why should he actually share it to the world? Why should Lord Shiva make Manickavasagar to be that instrument to share it to this world? Because he is unselfish. He did not work as an I. He wants all of us. We are all in this same boat, and for us, our destination or our goal is that Lord's feet. So he is making us all work towards that and get that goal. Next thing you can learn from a bee is balance. Yes, it is productive, it does its work, but there is a balance. So everyone works towards that balance. So we need time. Now we should not keep on working. Do not keep on amassing wealth. Relax, rest, keep your thoughts pinned to the lotus feet of the Lord. Next thing we can learn from the bees is its divine work. What is that divine work that it do? Oh, come on, it only takes nectar from the flowers. No, it does not damage the environment. So what it does is, it pollinates the land. So it takes only that much nectar from the flower such that it does not destroy the plant, it does not destroy the flower. It keeps it at a state that it has to be kept at, so that it can go and suck nectar again the very next day. So that is why the bee is one of the wisest and the cleverest of all the animals, and it is closest in intelligence to that of man. So that is why we should also not deforest, okay, but we keep on doing only that. We should not damage the environment. So that is something you can learn from the bees. Next one you can learn is love and care. So I said before that a bee, once it is ill, it automatically does social distancing, it automatically does self-quarantining, and until it becomes all right, and then comes and works in the colony. That itself is love and care for its colony, for its other teammates. A bee's honeycomb is also, it represents the heart chakra, so this chakra here, and life's sweetness. So the bee has strong ties to the sun, the light and warmth. So that is why it is associated with the love and with the heart chakra. And finally, the bee is associated with jnanam or with wisdom. It collects nectar from a flower and then returns back to the hives to transform that nectar into honey. Because all the worker bees, see, once the queen bee, at the early time of spring, when the spring just comes, that is from winter to spring, the queen bee goes and collects the nectar, the first amount of nectar for the hive. Then after that, it's all the worker bees only come and construct that whole hive. So that is why we say the worker bees go and collect the nectar and then they bring it only to the hive and transform it into honey. So it is like everyone getting that honey and then growing in wisdom. So it is analogous to someone who listens to that word of God and then just spreads that word of God to everyone. So what is Manickavasagar telling the bee? So why is he saying Thillai Kothumbi, Thillai Kothumbi? So he is saying, oh bee, please be my messenger. Please be my messenger in telling that Sivan how much I love him, how thankful I am to him, and that I am really yearning for him. The bee, as I said, is also considered to be our soul. So he is also saying, hey Atmane, oh soul, don't bother about sucking honey from these worldly activities or these worldly pleasures that you are getting pleasure from. These are useless. Flutter to his feet and suck that honey from him, from his feet. Basically, he is saying, leave these worldly pleasures, these are of no use. Yearn only for him, because he is that ultimate honey. He is that teen surindu. So he is that. And then Anaithu elumbu ul nega, it is melting. That's what he is saying. He is also saying, go and pray or unite yourself with that divine being who is the reason for everyone's existence. Finally, he says, for all the solutions to your problems, or that is only if you have any, he is reminding you of that divine feet of the Lord. So these are 4 points for why he is using the bee in this poem. So what can we learn from this song in the present context? First thing is self-introspection and humility. So Manickavasagar says in many of the stanzas, I am full of faults. I am a stone-hearted, cold-hearted, rude person. I am full of deceit. So he says, Vannanja kalvan manavaliyan. Then he says, Nayenai tannadigal paaduvithu nayagane. Peenadu ulla pizhai, he says. So pay enadu, it's like a demon. All my flaws are like demons. Naan thanukku anbu inmai naanum thaanum arivom. I do not have that love. I do not have so much of that love, and only you and me know it. Naan oru kalvan, kadiyan, kaladi. Kalvan is I am a thief or I am a dark person. Dark means filled with fraud, that's why. Kadiyan, I am a rude person, cruel person. I am a kaladi, I am a misfortune. So basically he is saying, you self-introspect and you understand that I have these flaws. Yes, I have these flaws. So now, how do I become better? Then only I can get that grace of Lord Shiva. I can become equivalent to Lord Shiva only once I keep reducing or removing all these flaws that are within me. That's why I use the term self-introspection. That is very important in someone's life. At every instant in life, he is reminding us, Manickavasagar is reminding us that I have flaws, I have flaws, I have flaws. I have to remove this. So the day you say that I do not have flaws, that day you become one with that Lord Shiva. The second thing he teaches us is thankfulness and gratitude. See, we take our parents, our children, our neighbors, or anyone around us, anyone who has even worked for us, we take them for granted. We are rude to them. We don't even thank them, right? Or we don't even thank him, the Lord Shiva, for what we have. Because we may be better off than someone else. But we always keep on lamenting, keep on cribbing that we do not have this, they have this, we are jealous, etc. So that is why we have to just be thankful to him, and he's reminding us of being thankful for whatever we have. So he's saying, Peyenadu ulla pizhai purukkum. Purukkum means you tolerated or you even forgave my sins that I have, which are fiendish, pain. Then he says, Nandraga vaitennai naisivigai etruvitu. So I am okay, I am fine, I am maybe just a dog, but you put me on that seat, on that high pedestal, and you have kept me in good status only. You have kept me very well. Nandraga vaittu ennai. Then he says, Naan yaar, en ullam yaar, ஞானங்களார் என்னை யார் அறிவார் வானோர் பிரானனை ஆண்டிலனேல். Had he not ruled over me, who am I? I am nothing. So I am now everything because I have understood who I am. So he is so thankful to Lord Shiva. He also says, Kannappan oppador anbinmai kandappin. Say, I do not have that love that Kannappan had for Lord Shiva. But seeing that I did not have that much love also, Ennappan en oppil ennayum aatkondaruli, you came and took me into your fold. Oh God, I am so thankful to you. The third one he says, he teaches us through this poem is, the world and amassing of this wealth are both fake. He uses the terms, பொய்யாய செல்வத்தே புக்கு அழிந்தி நாள்தோறும் மெய்யா கருதி. That means this false wealth, or this wealth that is so false, I have thought that this is all true and I have immersed myself in it. Then he says, Nayutra selvam, dog like wealth. Or just like dog is amassing wealth, I am also amassing wealth. He says, பொய்த்தேவு பேசி புலம்புகின்ற பூதலத்தே. In this world where everyone is lamenting and crying and that they are gods, or they are being fake. That's what he is saying. Or he is saying, வைத்த நிதி பெண்டேர் மக்கள் குலம் கல்வி என்னும் பித்த உலகில். In this mad world where they are looking only at wealth, gold, women, people and their families. People are selfish and they have that ahankaram because they have education. That is what he is saying. So he is saying that is why this world is full of filth, it is fake, and he is reminding us that don't get immersed in this fake world, reach that feet of the Lord. He is also next reminding you of an existence of the ultimate. He is always saying that, and he is saying, for any solutions, go to him. So how do you tell that someone is a solution to your problem? So how do you convince someone? What do? You describe him, or you describe how good he is, how eminent he or she is, correct? Or you tell your experiences, you tell what all experiences you've got. That's exactly what Manickavasagar is saying in this poem. So he is saying, Sendrudai Kothumbi, O Kothumbi, go and buzz next to the feet. Because, so he is either describing Lord Shiva, he is saying, Seyyar malaradikke, okay, that is the red like, lotus like feet, or Meittevar Devarke, that truthful God, Thenar Kamalame, that lotus like feet which is got full of honey, or Sittaya Sittarke, that eminent person, or he is giving all his experiences, right? I mean, you can see all those experiences in the poems when we explain the meaning. The next point he is explaining to us or telling us is God is a catalyst. So what does that mean? That means, yeah, we should remember God, and God, what he does is he pushes you forth the more you remember him. That is, he pushes you forward, probably in front of someone else. Just like in the case of Saint Avvaiyar, Vinayakar pushed her and flung her actually to Kailash even before Sundaramurti Nayanar could even reach Kailash. And that is because Avvaiyar had that belief in Vinayakar. So like that he is saying, Manickavasagar is telling us, Satto ninaikka manathamudam sankaranai. Only a small amount, only I thought about him, or swiftly I thought about him, and he came and sat in me. And then he, what experience he gave? Adiyen irumaka, he gave me that exalted experience. Naimel tavichittu, he gave me that high pedestal, although I am as low as a dog. Then Nandraga Vaityennai Naisivigai Etravithu. He's always kept me in good status only, and he's given me that pedestal, that seat which he need not have given me, where normally someone would take his dog and then sit along with him. He has given me that kind of a high pedestal. So he is saying that God is that catalyst, because he flung me onto that seat, although I am as low as a dog. So that is what he is reminding us. He is telling us to learn from the surroundings, because he also teaches us in different ways. So what does he teach? So one is he is using that Kothumbi, he is using the bee, and all this while I had listed a lot of how the bee teaches us different things. Also in this poem he says, Maranam pirappendru ivai irandin mayakku aruthu. So Lord Shiva has told him, or has taught him, what is the real meaning of that birth and the death, and how he cuts off that delusion. Then he says, Pirappoda irappu ennum sitta vigara kalakkam telivitta. So he changed my thinking about birth and death, and he removed that cloudiness that was sitting in my mind. He also says, Ondrai mulaitezhundu ettanayo kavadu vittu. I am one small shoot. He made me into one tree and gave me so much of branches. He taught me so many things. So God always teaches, either through different creatures, through different things around you, or he directly comes and teaches. So that is what he is trying and telling in this poem. Next, he is saying God is ever loving. Take to him seriously. This is what he says in this poem. He says, Ondrai mulaitezhundu ettanayo kavadu vittu, which I just explained. Then he says, Noyutra Muthanan, Nundagandrai, Tayutra Vandyanai Andu Konda. Just like a mother cow nudges its calf, he is also caressing me like one thai, like one mother. He says, Peyenad ulla Pudai Purukkum Perumayanai, Siedum illade Tayana Isarke. Oh, that mother like Lord, he is bearing my problems. And he forgives all the flaws that I have, just like a mother. He is ever loving. The last thing that he says in this poem is, he teaches us love, no attachment, rather than just education and vanity. So what does that mean? Obviously you have to have love for everyone and love for God. So he says, Vaitha nidhi pandir makkal kulam Kalvi ennum pitta ulagil. Here he uses the word Kalvi. Kalvi here is, yes, it is education, but from that education, so say you are reciting Vedas all the time. I am not saying Vedas are bad, Vedas are very good. They give you presence of mind, they give you good thinking, very good intellect, they give you everything. They also allow you go towards God. But say you are just reciting Vedas just for the sake of reciting, instead of really enjoying that experience. I know people do not understand Sanskrit, but they just recite for the sake of reciting. He's saying without reciting just for the sake of reciting and having that ahankaram or that ego or that vanity that I am greater than you because I know the Vedas. Instead of having that, have that love for Lord Shiva. That is what will take you to the next step. So Manickavasagar never said any Vedas. He just loved Shiva. And Shiva gave him that best. He put him on that high pedestal. Yeah. So then, Patyedum illadu en patru ara naan. So yes, you should love, but then you should be free from attachment. The one who did not have attachment, he came and did patra ara. He cut off my attachment to this world, so that I am not attached to any of these unwanted pleasures. I do not have love for that. I do not have I do not have attachment towards my family or anyone around me. I should definitely have love towards everyone, but I need not have that attachment. So that is why he says love, no attachment. And definitely, yes, education and knowledge is important, but it should not go to the level that you are just reciting Vedas or saying something just for the sake of saying it, without having that love towards Lord Shiva, and not to show any ahankaram or ego or try to be superior to someone or try to make yourself feel superior to anyone. Now this is my interpretation of Thirukothumbi. Obviously, each person will have his or her own interpretation of the same. The more you delve or the more you sing into sing this Thirukothumbi, the different meanings you yourself will be able to understand. So please sing this song and get your Atma, your be, to buzz, to hum around that lotus feet of the Lord. Shankaram, Siva Shankaram.